Right, we're back at it. So, hey, firstly, lovely to see you, Hamish. You're as beautiful as always.
Thanks, Troy. So are you, mate. So are
Thank you
you.
very much. I'm probably going to get you to explain, or a bit of background in your businesses. But long story short, this is Hamish Gordon. He has a variety of businesses that I thought had a lot of relevance to the topic around how to run a business, how has COVID affected it, but also around what it means to import, to grow, how supply lines might be affected, or just how business gets interrupted. Some of the things you've done, Hamish. So just by a bit of context, Hamish and I first met, and I think it was the first time we met. We did Icehouse Owner Manager program together, probably in about 2014, 2015, maybe it might have been. But just an exceptional group of people we had around us at that stage, and fortunately we've been able to keep them around us for the last 5 or 6 years, whatever that time frame. But yeah, so it's just awesome. Thank you for giving up your time. I know you're a busy man. So my first question for you, Hamish, is probably the longest one you have. Tell me about all the different businesses. What are they? How do they knit together? Because you do an amazing amount of work, and it's in a scale that might surprise people. But yeah, what's the story behind your growing what you've got?
Yeah, good question, Troy. Sometimes I wonder myself, mate. So, yeah, look, we started our first business in 2009, food ingredients, food commodities business called Natural Sugars. I had a background in sort of food commodities and finance, and I was sort of ready to take the plunge into business myself. And yeah, there was 3 of us that really were kicked into it, and we sort of started the business probably in a way that many businesses don't, and that's by taking a huge amount of risk. And basically, it was sort of flipping a coin, really. And what I mean by that is we bought a lot of sugar, about 2,000 tonne of sugar, into the New Zealand market. And at the time, the market was at 28-year highs. In the food or commodity business, you have to sell at market every single day. So if the market had gone down, we would have been selling at a big loss. But luckily for us, the market carried on going up. We had the relationships in the trade, and basically, yeah, we undercut the market, and that's how Natural Sugar started. So we always knew that. Well, I always knew that sugar was, even though it's where we started, it wouldn't be where we would place ourselves long term. So my goal and my passion was always to produce New Zealand products and sell them to the world, and it's really taken 10 years to get to that point now. So yeah, so basically 2009 Natural Sugar started. We grew to a pretty decent size until we're pretty mature really in this market. I mean, New Zealand's a pretty tiny market in the scheme of a global scale. We sell to New Zealand, the Pacific Islands, and a little bit into Australia, and that's in both sugar and edible oil products. We sell to food manufacturers, food service and retailers, as well as the agricultural market and apiculture and viticulture. So we sort of have a pretty diverse customer base, same product base, but very diverse customer base, which does hedge us in times of uncertainty like we're having now. In 2014, we wanted to diversify, so we bought a bottling plant down in Tauranga. The real reason for that purchase was to make liquid sugar and invert sugar, so we could supply the apiculture industry, because bees feed on sugar, otherwise they eat their own honey. And yeah, and so but then we got into the bottling side of things too, and because we had customers in the beverage industry, it was quite easy for us to start contract manufacturing, and that business grew. It nearly killed me, but it was very, very volatile with a few years, and we carried on investing until we had about probably four or 5 bottling lines that we have now, and again quite a diverse customer base. But I suppose one thing that stands out really during uncertain times is because we supply a lot to the hospitality industry. We have been affected have had a pretty large impact. COVID's had a pretty large impact to our business in the last few months, but we'll keep on cranking. And anyway, and then in 2017, I think it was, we decided that we wanted to be in control of our own destiny, or partly anyway, and we started the premium liquor company. So basically, that was producing alcoholic products through the bottling factory to join forces with all of the contracts that all the customers that we co-manufacture for. So having control of our own destiny is something that's pretty important to us. I mean, it only takes one or two customers, one to sell to a large multinational, two to shift their bottling to a place that is a lot cheaper than New Zealand, or we're dealing with a lot of small businesses, so they can come unstuck pretty quickly as well. So so we really started pushing our own brands, which, going back to my the thing I said right at the start, it was about my goal was to produce New Zealand products and sell them to the world. That's where we've ended up in a roundabout way.
And some people, and I don't know whether you share it because it might be commercially sensitive, but some people say, so Hamish imports some sugar or some oils, and then you bottle a little bit. But are you able to share some of the numbers, whether that's just by industry size? Because sometimes I get blown away, like how many bottles you're shipping through, in a matter of, what is it? Did you say 14 was the bottling? So let's say we're 4 or 5 years in, but mate, you were shipping some bottles.
Yeah, I mean, it's at the very start, we obviously it was a business that was, pure bottling was a business that didn't exist prior to 2014. We did buy the assets of another company that had gone into receivership, and the company that prior to that had gone into receivership too. So I don't know if it's a bad omen in the place that we purchased, but anyway, we were hoping like hell that, and we made sure that that didn't happen to us. So we started off doing about, I think, 5 to 6 million bottles in our first year, which was pretty volatile. And then I think the last financial year we did about 27 to 28 million units across mainly glass. And then we put a canning line in November, which took off pretty quickly as well. So right now we have a line that produces normal carbonated beverages in plastic, and sports drinks such as without naming brands, sports drinks, your typical sports drinks, some premium tonics, and premium spirits and that sort of thing. So yes, it's pretty diverse. We've pushed the guys pretty hard down there. We've got a really good team, and having a good team means that we can change tact pretty quickly, and also come up with new products, formulations pretty quickly as well.
And again, it's not a pitch for you, more just so that people know who you are, but something like some of the brands you've created. So, you talk about, and maybe the width, even if you use the premium liquor, but, you've got the Harvest brand, you've got, I don't know, you not only are you building physical, let's call it, you've got the import business, you've got the bottling business, but then you've had to get into brands, Sundown, Harvest. To tell us a wee bit about the width of those, or what they do. And I say that because, the difficulty that people, I think, is trying to understand a small to medium business, but listening to that already, that's enough to tire someone out. And then you start getting into brands and then different aisles, I suppose, in the FMCG market.
Yeah, cool. So our first brand, or brands that we started or created, one was called Harvest, which was started in the oils side of things. Harvest is now probably one of the leading oil brands in New Zealand. It covers it with the widest range of oils. So it goes, we sell canola, olive, sunflower, rice bran, coconut, sesame. We will have avocado shortly. But basically every type of oil you can think of, we either bring it in or have it or repack it in New Zealand. We also have things like coconut sugar, Harvest coconut sugar, which is becoming a real force in the New Zealand market. So yeah, the Harvest brand is something I'm really passionate about. It covers sort of baking as well as cooking. So that brand, we've got a huge NPD in the process at the moment, and basically our brand portfolio, as far as Harvest is concerned, is going to double in the next 3 or 4 months. So watch this space. We've also done a revamp on our Harvest brand, which which will change the look of it, and I think it looks a much more premium product. Then we have a brand called Canefields, which is just a sugar brand which chips away in the market. We have a brand called Stir, which was the first plant-based milk, or first plant-based milk products in the market, and in Australasia actually. So we got off to a really good start, but we probably timed it a little bit too early. And as you know, Troy, timing is everything in business. You don't have to be, you can be 6 months too early, or you can be 6 months too late. And it's just about making sure the market's ready for it at the time. And plant-based products have been huge in Europe probably for the last 5 or 6 years, but New Zealand and Australia are both very much dairy focused. It's very much a hard sell in this part of the world. And then, yeah, premium liquor. So kicked off in 2017. We've been pushing NPD hard in that business. So we've got a gin brand. We mainly focus on premium, natural, ready to drink products. So for many people our age, Troy, I suppose, where we think of an RTD in the traditional sense as, yeah, is pretty sugary drinks that are that you drink when at 20 years old to get as drunk as you possibly can. So the twist on that we've tried to create really is we're selling most of our products in a 4-pack. Our Sundown, it's a 100% natural product. It's very low in sugar, and it's something that you want that where we target is people probably aged between 25 and 50, and they want to take a few drinks to a friend's barbecue or whatever, and have a couple, and then leave a couple there or whatever, and it's not perceived to be that real binge sugary product that most of us are used to. So that whole market's changed at a hell of a rate. And then we have another brand called Hint, which is in New Zealand and Australia, which is basically a no sugar vodka soda range. It's just the reason why it's called Hint is it's just a hint of a natural extract flavour. So yeah, so I know that you probably won't want to talk about all of our brands, Troy, but we're pretty passionate about them. We've got another couple of really cool things in the pipeline, another 2 brands actually, which we hope will be game changers. But yes, a very, very competitive space, but we're just going to keep pushing it.
The reason I bring it up is not, I think it's more for if anyone listening, you sit there and go, sometimes I listen to you and I go, certainly I've learned over the last 5 or 6 years, you can't be one dimensional. You certainly aren't someone who sits there and goes, I sell a product and I will continue to sell that product. Just exactly like you said, you're looking at trends overseas or, trends locally. Something that blew me away over the Christmas break is, you create obviously this premium liquor, then you create the Sundown brand, and then you go, actually, we'll create our own festival, which I just go, it blows my mind that, you're gutsy enough to go and just create a festival. So again, just tell us a wee bit about creating a festival. What did you learn?
Yeah, so I suppose again, the reason behind that is that there's many of the large festivals now owned by multinationals. It seems to be the way that as soon as an industry gets big enough, that the multinationals come in and buy them all up. So you have certain festivals. Let's use Rhythm and Vines as an example. So basically, Rhythm and Vines is, I think, largely owned internationally now. I think that maybe the founders may own a little bit. I'm not too sure. But basically, to sell your brand or to sell our brand in that market at that festival would probably cost us, 6 figures plus. So the way I sort of thought about things is let's try and create our own festival and make it big enough and have our brand attached to it. And we're selling all of our brands so that, one, we gain some really good brand recognition out of it, but we also get some great marketing footage out of it as well. And yeah, so we put on a concert in February or March now. It seems like a long time ago because COVID's hit us. Yeah, we had about 3,000 people and put on New Zealand's or Auckland's biggest inner city beach party. So not quite as many. We didn't get quite the numbers of people that we hoped for. But for a first-time concert, I think it was pretty good. And the footage that we got was absolutely amazing. And the day just couldn't have gone better. And to be fair, for a first-time concert, if we did have double or triple the amount of people, the challenges that we had during the day would have been a lot bigger. So I think, you know, the people that went to it would definitely come back to another for another. And then it's a great way of launching new products as well. So
Yeah.
especially with the NPD that we've got in the pipeline, Sundown Sessions round 2 will hopefully be in the cards in 2021 as well.
That's awesome. I think it's awesome. Hey, so I suppose on to, you know, something a wee bit more in recent times. You know, what has COVID meant for you personally? What has it meant for your team? What has it meant for the various businesses? How have you been affected, whether that's, I don't know, culturally, commercially? Yeah, before we think about, you know, what actions have you taken, but how have you been affected, or the different elements you see at least?
Yeah, like I mean, like all businesses, I think we have been affected and affected largely, really. But you know, we're not in tourism, and we're not on the front line in hospitality. So as much as we are part of the hospitality industry, we don't own a pub, you know. So yeah, like natural because we've got three businesses, and I sort of have to the good thing about having different businesses is that I can actually compartmentalize each one. So I can talk about one and talk about another. But natural sugar's been in a space where, you know, we do supply the agriculture, we supply the, you know, the food manufacturers, food service, and retail. So retail has gone really well for us. Food service has been really dreadful. Food manufacturers have been really good because a lot of them supply the supermarkets, but some of them supply the food service industry as well. So we've been affected. And then, you know, agriculture, apiculture has been pretty good. Where we've been most affected is in liquor. We turned online on very quickly. We turned it on, and within 2 or 3 days of COVID level 4 lockdown, and you know, and sales were really good in April, considering we expected basically zero sales. Yeah, we had a blinder, which was great. May was actually harder for us because, you know, it was a real in-between stage, that level 3, level 2, so people weren't buying online as much. And, you know, and when it was that click and collect, there was a click and collect model, so basically people could ring a liquor store or go onto an app and order their product from a liquor store and then just pick it up and go, and that really suited and helped the big players. So yeah, we're in for an interesting time over the next couple of months, and especially probably June, July, before we see any significant comeback, I suppose. And then on the bottling side too, I mean, we've just had an amazing run down at Pure Bottling over the last 12 months, and right through from, I think, August through to the end of March, we're running 24/7, and then all of a sudden we just fell off a cliff. So the one thing that we did do is we turned into the bottling plant into a hand sanitizing manufacturing plant. There you go.
There we go. I actually just saw it. I thought, there it is.
One of our number one supporters. Yeah, so we've got a couple of brands out in the market. Kind's obviously our premium play, and has a real social part to it. So we're actually helping the Eat My Lunch team and supplying about 1,000 lunches to people in need, to kids in need, and that will continue. The Kind brand is something that we're really developing right now, and that's come from COVID. So there's watch this space as well. We're really pushing that brand into a number of different factors. We're looking at R&D and getting a bit of funding from Callaghan to push a few new products into the market, but also making sure that we don't do that without, I mean, the reason that brand is called Kind is because the brand is all about being kind. So it's not just kids that need, that aren't fortunate enough to be able to buy or make their own lunches. It's about anything in New Zealand or wherever we're exporting to help local communities that are in need, really. So yeah, no, it's a real exciting prospect, that one. But yeah, so I suppose the two things in COVID that we turned to quickly, one was hand sanitizer, which we really pushed in April. We worked with Foodstuffs quite closely and did a lot of business with them. And then we developed the Kind brand, which we are going to continue with. Online was obviously another major for us. And then why all of this why we are in this quiet time and this in-between period, which I hope is an in-between period because it's very hard to know right now. We're just product developing as fast as we can. So, and as I was saying before, we've got 4 new brands that are in the pipeline, and yeah, we're hoping at least 2 of those are going to be game changers.
Yeah, it's exceptional. And I say that everyone talks about pivoting, and pivoting's tough though, to actually go. And yeah, it sounds easy. Well, I've got a bottling line, but all of a sudden you go, well, actually we're going to run something else totally different through it. And it's, anyway, I just think it's, how quickly you've done certain things has been great, but it's probably your hallmark. You do things quickly, and, you're saying, is give it a hundy. So, ultimately I think if you're not giving it a hundy, you're probably not Hamish. So just a little bit on your team culturally, how has it affected whether you've got leaders or whether you've got just the broad set of team? How has the last, I think we're almost 10 weeks in now, Hamish, what's your take on the cultural effect?
Look, it was amazing through level 4 how just about everyone in our team across the business has stepped up. I mean, we had sales reps from Premium Liquor delivering stock. We had my EA was running the whole online side of things. We had, because online 7 days a week, they work through every weekend over 4 weeks, including Easter was in there as well. So really stepped up. We had our senior managers just pushing. I mean, that kind hand sanitizer you've got there in a gel format it's not an easy product to manufacture. And yeah, just my team just really, they got into the lab and worked at that. And even there's one thing having a formulation, but there's a way of formulating as well. So, you think, oh yeah, I've got 5 or 6 inputs that I need to put together and I'll make this formulation, but it's actually the order that you put those inputs in play and all the rest of it. So they did an amazing job. And yeah, look, I was pretty humbled. I wrote an email to the team about probably in the 3rd week of COVID and just said, look, this is exactly what I expect from a team. The entrepreneurial spirit that they've shown and the real relentless effort to stand up when it counts is, was huge. So I suppose the thing now is they know that I always said that April wasn't going to be our bad month. It was going to be, May to July, August were going to be the months that we found really challenging, especially on the liquor side and in the bottling side. And we are going to need to pump things into this market really quickly, be agile, look at all opportunities. So yeah, I reckon we've got a few challenging months ahead of us, but yeah, we've got a lot on the go as well, so we can pivot pretty quickly.
Yeah, and I think it sounds. Maybe you've touched on. I'm just trying to think. What are some of the actions that you feel you need to take? And I say that going, you're really good. For people who don't know, you come across, obviously that marketing is strong, the desire to get things done is strong, but obviously you're very numeric. How often are you going back to look at various elements of your P&L, your budgeting, your balance sheet? Or I think we had a good chat obviously the other morning, and I think you and I and the rest of the members of that conversation when it's a time to go forward, and actually have a crack at something. So just a wee bit around some of the actions and plans you might have. Maybe it doesn't have to be specific, but yeah, well, what are you thinking, Hamish?
Yeah, good question. So marketing, this is just if I focus firstly on marketing, when you're going through troubled times, many businesses, the first thing that they will pull is their marketing spend. I've just doubled my marketing spend. And the reason being is we've got to be bold when others aren't. So that's one thing I'm really portraying to the team. Let's be bold when others aren't. Yeah, it is high risk. It could be, it may not be, but if we're not standing up now, how the hell do we determine our future? Second is numbers, and yeah, Troy, you pointed out then, I do love numbers. Power BI, I love Power BI. Yeah. So I know exactly where our business is twice a day through Premium Liquor. I know what's happening, what's been invoiced at midday, and what's been invoiced by the end of that day. I know where that is compared to last year. I can just about pull any report I possibly want, and it's at my fingertips on my phone now. So absolutely love it. And then it's about reforecasting. And if that's, we'll do that every week if we have to work out where we'll be in the next 2 or 3 months, which will obviously sort our cash position out. So we'll mean that we can work our cash position out. But the great thing about having your numbers at your fingertips is you can sort out invoice errors really quickly. You can sort out any lost margin issues very quickly. You know, people, not that I'd say that my staff would do this on purpose, but maybe they've priced something incorrectly and they go, look, how come we've lost 20% on that? And you see it straight away. Well, let's fix it. And then, so you sort of, you can make decisions a lot quicker. You don't have to wait for your financials to come in. Really, our BI information should be very similar to our financials. So when our financials come in, which we sort of expect that the month before financials to come in, within 10 days of the following month. So if that's there and it is a huge difference to what BI is saying, then we have a challenge as well. But if it's about right, and then, you know, it's all it is just recording history, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then it's sales, you know, distribution is everything. So I'm just pushing as much distribution as I can, and we'll get distribution at all costs. So between marketing, knowing our numbers, and by ramping up marketing spend, pushing NPD as fast as we can, making sure that we're on top of numbers, and then pushing distribution as fast and aggressively as we can. I think that's all we can do. So that's where all my time and effort is going now, and just making sure I'm speaking to my senior managers every single day and making sure that they haven't forgotten about me, which I'm pretty sure they don't at the moment.
Hey, this might be a dumb question. NPD, what does that mean?
Oh, sorry, new product development.
Got it.
So that's new brands and new products within brands.
Okay, no, that's awesome.
So,
Hamish, you've done this now. Obviously, maybe you did something before 2009 as well, 10, 11 years in. Another business owner or just a business leader listening, you know, what would your advice be to them?
Take the plunge. If you're keen not to be working for somebody, and you're very much you want to be a business owner, take the plunge, because you don't want to die wondering, I suppose. And if you're good at sales, or you're good at finance, or you're good at something, then try and go into an area that you're passionate about. I'm definitely not passionate about sugar, for example, but I am passionate about dealing with great people. So the way we started was, you know, we use this in our ICS group. Troy and I, Mike Bryant uses this a lot about doing good things or great things with great people, and we use that motto internally as well, and that means that we want to to do good things with good people internally, but also externally. And if you've got those relationships, or you can build those, then have a crack. It is very uncertain times right now, though, but you know what, certainty never exists. And yeah, I suppose that if you're that way inclined, it only just drive you harder, doesn't it? I mean, yeah.
And I suppose last question, and I haven't kind of set you up for this, but it is just a question around, doing great things with great people. You know, how much are you collaborating now? And I don't know whether you are collaborating less or more. How many industry partners are you talking to? How many people across, whatever sectors or industries? Are you talking wider with more people, or are you, I suppose, more insular, if that's the other end of that spectrum?
A little bit of both, really. I mean, collaborations we're doing with all of our customers because of the type of product and type of market that we're in. For example, if we're working on a home brand product for foodstuffs, obviously we're collaborating with them, and we're manufacturing a product for them, or importing a product for them, and they're selling it. So there's always that type of thing. But even all of our contracts at Pure Bottling, everyone we manufacture for, that is a collaboration. And the key for that is just trying to build mutually beneficial relationships for the long term. And I think there's a lot of people fall into the trap, and I know it's a really competitive world. In New Zealand, we're on the edge of the earth, so it makes it even tougher. We're further away from anyone else than anyone else is in the world. So it is tough. And I think I was listening to one of your podcasts a couple of weeks ago, Troy, and I think it was KPMG. Sorry.
Yeah, John. Yep.
John from KPMG.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he was saying that, you know, that New Zealand manufacturers generally are lower margin manufacturers because we have to buy things from further away, and we don't have the efficiencies because we don't have the volume going through there. So yeah, so that makes it a bit tough, but also I think that, you know, we're all part of the same team. If I'm manufacturing if you want to come up with a drink and inside recruitment drink and you want that drink to be right, and I'm manufacturing it for you, then we are a team. You know, so I'm a massive fan of working collaboratively, and there are always going to be challenges with any business. Let's work through those challenges together and get a positive outcome. You know, there's quite a few New Zealand companies that are happy to get that gun out and put it to your head and say, look, you stuff this up, you know, we'll sue you for it. And that's just not the way we work. So we basically, again, one of the things from Ice House about sacking the customer, you know, like we've got no time now for customers that put that gun to our head, really. So
yeah, no, it says a lot, mate. Thank you so much for your time. Yeah, just as awesome as I expected. So good to see you in the office, and no doubt we'll catch up at the end of the week again.
Awesome. Hey, thanks, Troy. Thanks very much, mate.